Hello friends, welcome to our channel Accounts and Finance with FARSK. This is our video on the Letter of Credit LC Part 8. Hope you will like, share and special request to all to don't forget to subscribe our channel. Letter of Credit LC Part 8. Details in an import and export LC. Documents usually required under ALC. Continued. Continuing from the previous video. Certificate of origin. As the name advocates, a certificate of origin certifies as to the country of origin of the goods are described and should comply with any conditions in the letter of credit as to originating country and by whom the certificate is to be issued. The certificate should be consistent with and identified with the other shipping documents such as shipping marks and numbers and must be signed. Packing list. Packing list is usually requested by the buyer to assist in ascertaining the contents of each package or container. It must show the shipping marks and number of each package. It is not usually required to be signed. Inspection certificate. When a letter of credit calls for an inspection certificate, it will also normally specify by whom the certificate is to be issued. Otherwise, the same general comments as in the case of the certificate of origin apply. As a preventive measure against fraud or as a means of protecting the buyer against the possibility of receiving substandard or unwanted goods, survey or inspection certificates issued by a reputable third party may be deemed judicious. Such certificates indicates that the goods have been examined and found to be as ordered. Is shipment of goods. Upon receiving the letter of credit, the beneficiary should scrutinize it carefully and be satisfied that all the terms and conditions can be complied with. If this is not possible, the beneficiary should request the applicant to arrange an amendment to the letter of credit. Once completely satisfied, the beneficiary will then be in a position to assemble and ship the goods. Steps in an export letter of credit. Presentation of documents by beneficiary. The beneficiary prepares an invoice in the number of copies required, with the description of goods shown exactly as stipulated in the letter of credit. The beneficiary obtains the bill of lading and/or other transport documents from the carrier and prepares and/or obtains all other documents required by the letter of credit. These are attached to the draft drawn on a blank specified and at the terms stipulated in the letter of credit and are presented to the advising or confirming or negotiating bank. Sending documents to the bank. The advising, confirming, or negotiating bank checks the documents presented by the seller against the letter of credit. If the document is having all the conditions and necessities as per the LC, that bank will send them to the issuing bank, claiming reimbursement and paying the seller. Delivering documents to the applicant. The issuing bank will also check the documents for compliance and then deliver them to the applicant either against payment or as an undertaking to pay on maturity of the drawing under the letter of credit. Payment procedure. Payment. On presentation of the documents called for under the letter of credit, provided they are in agreement with its terms, the advising or negotiating bank, in the case of an unconfirmed letter of credit, may pay or negotiate the draft. In the case of a confirmed letter of credit, the confirming bank is obliged to honor the drawing without recourse to the beneficiary. Reimbursement. The advising or confirming or negotiating bank will claim reimbursement from the issuing bank. Settlement. On receipt of confirming documents, the issuing bank will also be responsible for checking documents and will charge the applicant's account under the terms of the letter of credit application and agreement forms affecting settlement to the negotiating bank. Term usance letter of credit. Acceptance. On presentation of the documents called for under the letter of credit, provided they are in compliance with its terms, the beneficiary's bank, which may be the advising bank, will send the documents and the draft to the accepting bank for acceptance. The accepted draft may be held by the accepting bank until it matures, or it may be returned to the beneficiary at the beneficiary's option, who may hold it until maturity or discount it at the best rate available, which can be given with any bank. Payment. On maturity of the accepted draft, the accepting bank will pay the beneficiary or the discounting bank and claim reimbursement from the issuing bank, who will charge the applicant's account and remit the proceeds. Then, the discounting bank would be any bank which has purchased the accepted draft at a discount. Cite letter of credit. Unconfirmed cite letter of credit. With an unconfirmed cite letter of credit, payment of funds flows from the applicant, that is the buyer, to the beneficiary, that's the seller. In the case of confirmed cite letter of credit, the payment of funds also flows from the applicant, that is the buyer, to the beneficiary, that is the seller. However, herein the payment made by the negotiating or confirming bank is made without recourse. Recourse, in simple words, is routing to the beneficiary. Advising bank. A branch or correspondent bank at or near the address of the beneficiary to which the issuing bank either sends the letter of credit or a notification that a letter of credit has been issued with instructions to notify the beneficiary. The advising bank advises the beneficiary of the letter of credit without engagement. Accepting bank. The bank named in the letter of credit on whom term drafts are drawn and who indicates acceptance of the draft by dating and signing across its face, thereby incurring a legal obligation to pay the amount of the draft at maturity. Beneficiary. The seller or the party to whom the letter of credit is addressed. Applicant. The buyer or the party who requests the letter of credit to be issued. Discounting bank. A bank which discounts a draft for the beneficiary after it has been accepted by an accepting bank. Confirming bank. A bank usually in the country of the beneficiary which, at the request of the issuing bank, joins that bank in undertaking to honor drawings made by the beneficiary, provided the terms and conditions of the letter of credit have been complied with. Drawer. Who is a drawer? A, the beneficiary of the letter of credit who will draw the draft in accordance with the terms of the letter of credit. Parties involved in an LC transaction continued. Drawee Bank. The bank named in the letter of credit on whom drafts are to be drawn. Issuing bank. Issuing bank is the bank which opens a letter of credit on behalf of the applicant and forwards it to the advising bank for delivery to the beneficiary. Paying bank. The bank named in the letter of credit where drafts are to be paid. It is not necessarily the issuing bank, but most often a branch of the issuing bank or its correspondent. Once draft has been paid or accepted by the paying or drawing bank, there is no recourse to the drawers. Parties involved in an LC transaction continued from the previous slide. Negotiating bank. Usually the beneficiary's bank which, after satisfying itself that the documents conform with the letter of credit, agrees to purchase the drafts pay the beneficiary. Reimbursing bank. The bank authorized by the issuing bank to reimburse, or in simple words, repay the drawee bank or other banks submitting claims under the letter of credit. Well, that's it for today. Hope you like our video. For more videos, please do not forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Accounts and Finance with FARSK. Thank you. Have a great day.